Welcome to Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
I'm Gina.
And I'm Julia.
We are two ride-or-die best friends who are paving the path for what true, authentic relationships look like.
We're facing hardships head-on, having real, uncensored conversations, supporting each other's growth, and shining a light on true, raw healing.
We are navigating the world the best we know how,
Having a hell of a time doing it.
laughing every step of the way,
Through the rain
and sunshine.
This is Canyon Culture.
Welcome back to Unfiltered Summit Sisters. I felt like I got struck down by lightning in a good way, like a brain lightning.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a brain thought, where your older girls, Maddie and Kenzie, are some of my most favorite people on the planet, which makes sense because they came from you.
Obviously.
And not to be like bitchy, but like it's weird because they also came from your ex, which I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah.
But
I think they just got some of the skin color.
they just took the good parts, which was the skin color.
Right.
Done.
Right.
The end. But I don't know. I just feel like what I would like to know. Well, okay. I want to talk about how awesome they are. But then I also want to hear, after we talk about how awesome they are, maybe some of the things that you feel like either they came that way or things that you feel like they're awesome about because of different ways you've parented or experiences that they've had. Because I think it's always a combination, right?
Yeah.
I think that we provide such great lives for our kids that they have the opportunity to be awesome and they choose that, and that's just who they are. And there's other times where we showcase things, and I kind of want to hear where you think this is, but I really want to toot their horn a lot.
Oh, I
'Cause
love that.
I think they're pretty freaking awesome.
They're amazing. They, just the other day, made dinner for a neighbor, and they did the whole thing. They made a list of what they needed. They chose what to make. They made a list of what they needed from the grocery store, had somebody else take them to the grocery store. They made dinner. I drove them to drop it off, but that was it. They made dinner from scratch, brownies from scratch, and we're so excited. They made a little card.
Well,
And had us sign it.
the family lost a family member. A family member of theirs had passed away, and that process was really fast. Like, the family member got sick and then passed away relatively quickly.
And I love that they did that
That they saw that
on their
own.
And that I think comes from, like, they've seen me take meals to people so many times, so many times, and so many times they helped me
Yeah.
take meals to people, and so to see them come up with that on their own and do all of the work for it,
Yeah.
just to love on another family was really cool.
They stopped by my house for me to sign the card.
Yeah.
Which I was so grateful that they let me be a part of that. But my favorite wasn't, like, they didn't tell me all the details, right? I heard very little about what was happening. It wasn't, so they're not doing it for show.
Right.
They're doing it to love them. And the fact that when this mom will give them hugs, they're like, oh my gosh, she hugged me, right? Like, they get so excited to be loved on by these other adults that they get excited. And I just love that I feel like they're these two just loving beings. And I feel like in this last year, watching them receive that love has just amplified their ability to give that love. And it's been so cool to watch.
It has. It's been really cool. So they are 16 and 14 now, which
Going
is
on 30
crazy.
and 35.
I'm pretty sure the 16-year-old was 5 years ago.
It's true. Last year she was 7.
For real. It's crazy how fast it goes. But they are incredible people, and I think all that I can say is that they are their own people, and I have partnered with God and given them the space to be their own people, to not try to conform them to anything I want them to do or be or emulate. Just give them the space to be who they are.
Within boundaries, though.
Yes.
That's the thing, is you do set boundaries and expectations in their behavior and their actions.
For sure.
There's consequences for poor behavior. So you're not like leaving them out in the wild.
Right.
But you are giving them the opportunity for their personality and who they truly are to have that space. And I love it. I'm just going to rattle off some of my favorite memories because it just, okay. So Madison is the dancer. She's 16 and she's always doing like ballet moves.
Yeah.
And it cracks me up. We'll just have a conversation in the kitchen and she's just on her toes, just with her pretty arm. What do you call pretty hands? I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
I just know the jazz hands.
Right. That's all we know.
That's all we know. But I also love when they're around babies. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And
they
how they're
are.
willing to serve these people with babies. And so lately after ice cream, there's a family there that has 3 little girls that we're all obsessed with. And the mom likes to have the kids bathe before they get home because then they can just put them right to bed. And the last couple weeks, she's like, oh, I've got to bathe the girls. And Kenzie's like, we'll do it. If you let us, we'll do it. And she's like, by all means. And so
I guess.
so the mom's sitting there, her name's Kaylee, and she's just like, she was sitting in the hammock and she was like, my girls are getting bathed right now and I'm not doing it. She was like on cloud 9.
Yes.
So I love, like, they love the babies, but they love serving because they do babysit for work too. And they're still willing to do a job that they typically get paid for free because they just love these girls so much, which is incredible. I remember Madison and I had talked about going and doing something, just her and I together, go to, I think it's just Walmart or something, but we both wanted some one-on-one time together. And Thomas came upstairs, who's 6. So Madison's 16, Thomas is 6. So 10-year gap. And he was saying something and she was like, hey, Tommy, do you want to go to Walmart with me and your mom? And like, she was just willing to share that moment that her and I had planned doing. And she like wanted him there.
Aww.
And the 3 of us went, and she was just like, I think in my head, I have a picture of them holding hands down an aisle and I'm like crying. But like, and it was just like, we talked about in other episodes, just there's so many simple pleasures that you and I both try not to take advantage of and just really love. But that's a core memory for me. It's just that your girls often think beyond themselves. Yeah. I love my boys. They don't do that. If they do, it's very rare. They don't look beyond themselves. And I feel like your girls are often doing that because Thomas isn't easy, right? But anyway, that was just so special to me to watch your girls, to always watch your girls love on my kids, not because they have to, because they want to. So another one for Mackenzie. Right when the boys got back, the first Friday that the boys got back from Texas, we had movie night at my house, and Mackenzie and my Adam cuddled the whole time.
Aww.
And she was like, this was the best ever. Like, it wasn't like she was tolerating him. He is my lovey, my touchy. He always wants snuggles and hugs all the time. And so I saw him like climb. I was like, boundaries, bro, you've got to ask.
Right.
And she's like, bring it in. Like, she was so happy. And then when she was done, she's like, that was the best movie ever. I was like, what'd you watch? She goes, I don't even know. Right. And I love how they show up for their siblings and my siblings and not my siblings, my kids. But I love that they look outward, and I love how much fun we all have together. I love when we're all in the car singing horribly. Yeah. But it's my favorite. Yeah. And we're dancing and we're just all being our authentic selves. And I love that they bring that out in me. That's something that I noticed, is that they've been a huge part of me being my authentic self and feeling safe doing so outside of the very small space that used to be. Yeah. But anyway, there's just moments like that where it's just them being them blesses so many people's lives. And I just super love having them around all the time.
Well, and they do a lot behind closed doors that nobody sees and nobody hears about. And generally when you have a single parent, you have to. Yeah. I mean, just yesterday I was mowing the lawn. Your lawn looks so good, by the way. Like, I pulled in to pick you up today and I was like, it's looking good. Just in time for it to snow. Which is really rude. But thank you. My dad taught me how to mow a lawn the right way. He would be proud. Thanks, Dad.
Good job, Papa.
They do a lot behind closed doors that nobody knows. And so yesterday I was doing the lawn, Mackenzie was making dinner, and Madison was cleaning out the fridge because it was trash day. And there's so many times where they're working behind the scenes, where we all are, to make our family run. Yep. And even with their help, I'm still running around every minute of every day. Yeah. But I couldn't do this life without them. They are amazing and so helpful. And don't get me wrong, they're teenagers. They have days or weeks or moments or seasons where it's not fun because they're just being teenagers. But at the same time, I expect that out of a child, out of a teenager. I expect them to have moments and seasons of being selfish, and right, they're supposed to.
But they
It's
also, I think
teenagers.
that they go above and beyond on the other side of the scale.
They do. They really do.
We had a family who owns bouncy houses, and they had a festival, and it's like 12-hour days.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we'll work it.
Yeah.
Like, they got paid for it, but they still were just like, yeah, we'll go. We'll get up early. We'll stay late. And I feel like every time I talked to them, they had such a positive thing to say.
Yeah.
About how fun it was, right? Like, and not that it was like they're sitting there just monitoring a bouncy house, making sure people have bracelets, and they're taking these awkward scenarios with grown-ups or with older teenagers, and they're just laughing about it. And I just love that. I feel like in general they've got this glasses half full, which I think is super special with what they've gone through with abandonment and the abuse that they've had to endure over their childhood, their short lives.
Yes.
To still be the kind of kids who bring light to other people's lives, I think is really special.
And that's been a huge focus of mine as the leader of my family. That has been a huge focus of mine, is to focus on the good and the gratitude and the light, especially coming out of hell
Yeah.
into a season of just pure survival. And now we're coming out of that into thriving.
Yeah.
Is just to really be grateful and focus on so much of the good, because our lives are not easy by any means. It's still hard. Being a single parent is hard. Being kids of a single parent is hard.
Yeah.
But there's so much goodness and there's so much light. And so one of the things that my kids do every day before they start school, they either tell me or they write down. The bigger ones write it down. The little ones tell me 3 things that they're grateful for within the last 24 hours and 3 affirmations about themselves. I think that has really impacted their perspective on things. And I see it all the time. I see them being grateful for little things and small things. I see them, our Christmases are just a lot smaller than most people. Yeah, they're very modest. They're very modest Christmases.
Yeah.
And my kids are so happy and so thankful for what they have, and
just
all the memories.
Just taking them to Walmart.
Yeah.
I think I've said before on the podcast, if I go to the grocery store with kids, it is often with a car full of not my kids.
Yeah.
And they always are like, thank you. Like, you know what? To be honest, all of your kids do such a good job. Mason, anytime I make them anything, especially Mason, she'll make it. I remember she was walking away. She stopped, she turned, she goes, thank you, Gina, for breakfast or dinner, whatever it is. And then she left. And I love that, because it's not, I do it because I love them, and I do it because I love you. And I have a lot of reasons it's not, and it's, I'm used to motherhood being a thankless job, but I love how intentional so many, if not all of your kids are with eye contact, thank you, eye contact, I love you.
Yeah.
And I think that's super special for kids.
And I try to do that. I try to make sure that I'm doing that back to them.
Exactly.
Even if it's their chores or their homework. You did such a good job in school this
Right.
week. Thank you. Or
Well,
your chores
okay.
look great. Thank you.
How many times in our marriage, I'm like, I always felt frustrated when he wanted a parade for doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yet I would do everything and I'd get zero recognition. And now I'm, that process was damaging and not healthy. But right now I want to be with somebody where he takes on whatever he takes on, and I can be grateful, because I was in a space where I was so angry. I was like, you don't deserve a thank you. That's what you should be doing.
Right.
I shouldn't have to thank you for providing for our family. I appreciate the shift in my mentality where I want to be in a relationship where I thank them for things that are expected of them or that are needed of them. And so I love the practice I get to do that with your kids and the example with that. But I just think that for Madison and Mackenzie to both be really unique teenagers,
Yes.
to be so inclusive with so many people and so thoughtful and hardworking, and have so much joy and light in everything. Like, can we just talk about Madison for a second, and how when she first moved here, she's a homebody. She likes being at home.
I don't know where she gets that from.
No, but she puts you to shame with how much she likes to be at home, right? Like, you push yourself to go out and do stuff. And at the beginning of your guys' time in Utah, she would come out because you made her. You're like, there's some family activities you get to pass on.
Yes.
There's some that you don't. And she would come, and it was all a thing. And now she is like showing up at my house, showing up at, like, she is being social on her terms. And I'm so proud of her for that.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me so proud
And
of
it's just
her.
giving her that space, and part of that was showing her just the light that she needed to be around.
Yeah.
and then giving her the space to figure out, this does make me feel good. This is something that I need in my life.
Yeah. And they're, I don't know, they just, I love when I get dressed and I FaceTime them. I'm like, how does this look? And they're like, don't wear that.
Oh my gosh. I go run errands. They're like, you're not wearing that, are you? I was like, well, not anymore.
Listen, I have a bunch of boys, you know, I think I love them. I love them dearly, but I can walk out in like a trash bag and they're like, you look cute, Mom. And I'm like, you're a liar.
Yeah.
This was a test and you failed.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. So I appreciate their honesty, because I'm like, I know there's something wrong here. But when I went on my very first date a couple weeks ago, I remember I had to take Thomas over to a neighbor's house so that they could babysit him. And they happened to be there. And I wasn't wearing what I was planning on wearing. They're like, oh my gosh, is that what you're wearing on your date? I was like, no. They're like, you should. You look great. I was like, okay.
Never mind, I'm dressed.
And that's what I wore. I did FaceTime them when I got home. I was like, what about these shoes? What are we doing? Like, tell me all the things. I don't have girls. I don't have older ones. But it's been really fun for me to have these bonus daughters. That's what I've been calling them. I know that we're not married, and so they're not my stepkids, but I love that idea of bonus.
Yes.
Like, your kids are my bonus kids. So I love having these bonus daughters that have brought so much light, and they serve me, and they're examples, and I just love how much they love. They are just, it's incredible to me.
They're awesome. They're amazing. And they and I have such a good relationship.
Which
too,
I love.
Which we work on all the time. And we are not best friends. I am Mom.
Yeah.
And they are my daughters. And so we are not best friends. They know that.
Yeah.
I think that is toxic.
Yeah.
But they also know that they can come to me with anything.
Yeah.
And they know we've talked about really hard things, you know, where they've been in tears and just had really hard conversations of, listen, I'm Mom, and God put me here to disciple you and walk with you in life, not to be a strict parent of these are, you know, all the rules and do this and don't do that, the end, right? It's so that I can walk life with you. And so I do want you to have experiences while you're still living with me so that we can walk through them together and talk through them together.
That is parenting.
It's
you don't
not
shelter them.
Shelter,
give them,
right.
Not give them opportunities to make choices and mess up under the safety of your roof.
Right, because then you're going to shelter them until they turn 18, and then the very next day they move out and they have all this freedom and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So
And I think you do a great job at giving them freedom and giving them coaching and giving them opportunities. But I do think that is a blessing that comes with single parenting, is we want to connect with our kids because we don't have the opportunity to connect with our kids like we used to when we were or when we were married.
Yes.
Even though then we weren't connecting, we were in survival mode. It's totally different. But even now, I think there's so many times where I'm like, no, I need to intentionally spend time with my kids because I get so lost in housework and work and all the other millions of things that are on our plates that I forget that being a mom is more than just keeping them alive. That I need to have relationships with them. And so I love having the example and watching, because you've got, you know, these two girls that are older than my oldest. And so you're kind of paving the path for me. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful to watch them go. There was a day where I was like, what do you do? And she's like, Mom and I have a date. And I was like, I freaking love that. That's what she wants to do with her time. She wants to spend time with you. I think I saw a TikTok the other day that was just like something about good parents is when your adult children want to spend time with you. And I think that still counts with teenagers.
Absolutely. And I think, and that is a big goal, that they know that I'm their safe place, that they know that no matter what's going on in life, Mom's going to make me feel good. Yeah. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun. And I'm going to feel lighter. Yeah. Going back home.
I love it.
And so we spend time together. We talk a lot about boundaries and it's just a different season of parenting. Yeah. Right? It's a lot different than my 5-year-old. My 5-year-old, I just want to freaking keep him from getting hit by a car at this point. Like,
you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
100%.
But teenagers is different because you are slowly giving them more freedom. They're not children, but they're not adults either.
But they're becoming people.
And so it's slow, and you know, and I've talked to them about this of, I'm, you know, slowly giving you more freedom in areas where I feel like you're ready to handle more. Yeah. But when I step in and I set a boundary, I need you to know that it's for your protection. Yeah. It's so that you can have a beautiful life and you can experience all of what God has given us in this life at the right time, in the right way. Yeah.
I'll just send Russell over. You can do the teenage years.
Not with boys. I have girls.
Like, how do you
I'm sending Jacob to you. Are you kidding?
Because boys are very different. And I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm really loving is I was terrified about girls before, and your girls are changing that for me now. Granted, I don't have a daughter from my womb, but like, yeah, like boys are super, super different. And Russell is very different than your girls. And so I still like, I'm watching that. I'm like, there's times I'm like, do you want to do this? He's like, no. I'm like, oh. Like, I was like, do you want to go to Costco with me? If I asked Mackenzie to go to Costco with me any day of the week, she's like, yes.
Yes.
She's there. And I'm like, Russell, you want to go to Costco? He's like, no.
No.
It's like, what if we bring somebody else? I guess. Like, he's like, whatever. But anyway, it's just different. And so I'm having to navigate that. But I want that same idea. I want that close relationship. I want to make sure that I give my kids the freedom to explore in the safety over my roof.
Yes.
And to just have that close relationship. But I think that single parenting offers closer relationships with parents and kids because
I think so too.
we have to, because you and I have to rely on our kids to carry things that they typically wouldn't if there was two adults in the house. I hate it because I do feel like they have to grow up faster.
They do.
But I also feel like it gives them good life skills a lot earlier than a lot of other kids would. So
It does.
it just showcases to me that God's got us.
Right.
Because I don't think either of us would wish single parenting on anybody. I feel like God still has so much beauty that he offers. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you're divorced. It sucks. It's like, you're divorced and that's hard, but there's going to be beauty in it too. And you guys will get to experience that. And
yes, there's so much beauty in it. And I want to say, I'm so sick of hearing divorced homes, single parent homes called broken homes, because I will tell you right now that my children lived in a broken home while I was married. And now they don't. And now they live in so much peace and joy. Stop calling divorced parents or single parents broken homes, because they're not.
No, absolutely broken when I was married. 100,000,000,000%.
Yes.
The healing, the peace, the safety.
Yes.
Like, even I'm going through some of the hardest times with Thomas right now of my life. And the weight is nothing of what it was like when I was married, which blows my mind. Because I have light, because I have community, because I have that peace, and there's just too many things.
Yeah.
So that marriage was broken. That family was broken.
That home was way more broken.
Well, and it's funny because you're just like, when I think of home now, it's like a radius. It's not my home.
Yeah.
I just felt that just now. It's just like, because I feel like my kids, when they're at your house, I still call it Julia's house, but I'm like, they're still home.
Yes.
And there's neighbors all over the place where they go and they just wander. And I have faith and trust that they are getting treated so well everywhere. To give them this, I don't know, I just feel like, you said the other day, you're like, we're just coming out of survival mode. And I feel that in some areas, and I feel that not in a lot of areas. But this community that you and I have been a part of creating is probably some of the sweetest, most tender mercies that God has given us.
Absolutely.
And to watch these kids all band together, we're talking minimum 4 families, minimum 4 families. It's beautiful. And that all of these kids are loving and supporting them. Because what is it? Kenzie just sent us a screenshot of one of the kids that was just like, I couldn't do this without you guys. And I was just like,
their little group teenager text.
Yeah. The life that you created for your girls made it so that they are that for other people. So I am grateful yet again that you let me witness and be a part of and get to be in receiving of this love and this beautifulness that you've created, where your girls have gotten the opportunity to become the true women that God created them to be, and that you have taken on the task of modeling for them being a Christ-like woman so that they get to bless me. And I'm just grateful for them. I'm so grateful for them. I'm grateful for the light that they bring to my life. I'm grateful for the joy. I am grateful for how excited they are to see me. I don't think when you come from a space where your self-esteem is so low and you see Madison, and every time she gets excited. Are you kidding me? A 16-year-old is like, oh, you're here every freaking time I see her.
Yep.
Do you know what that does for my self-esteem? And that carries deep into my soul.
I love that.
And I love them. I love you girls so much. I'm gonna cry.
Don't start it. Breathe it out. Get it out.
Nothing's falling from my eyeballs. It's fine.
Doesn't count.
Okay.
I think first and foremost, I am grateful to be a mom. I know that there's so many women out there who that is their heart's desire, and for one reason or another, they're not getting to do that right now.
Yeah.
And I fully recognize that, and I don't ever want to take that for granted. I'm living my dream of being a mom. I know that I was called to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that God has allowed me to do that many times over. I'm also grateful for all of my babies, but right now we're talking about Madison and Kenzie. I'm just grateful for them. They are just so fun and loving, and for the most part, I love having teenagers.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see who God has created them to be and what they like and what they dislike, and I get to be front seat to all of it. And so I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for the way that they love and serve our family, even when they're tired, even when they don't want to, even times when they have attitudes and they still get up to do it. I'm really, really grateful for them. I could not do this season of life without them.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody's jealous now because they don't have a Maddie and Kenzie in their life.
Yeah, you should be.
Because you should be. When we get famous and do meet and greets, y'all get your chance.
I mean, that'll be extra, but yeah.
When you see us in the wild and you're like, oh my gosh, there's those girls from the podcast. Where's Maddie and Kenzie? It'll be fine.
Right. They're going to want to meet them, not us.
Well, it's fine.
It's totally fine.
Totally fine. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
Come join us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to get a sneak peek into our lives.
It's beautiful, chaotic, crazy, and fun.
What else would you expect raising 10 kids?
All the links you need are in the show notes.
See you next week.